afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, 1st of October, and it is about 2:33 Central European Time in the afternoon, so 2:33 p.m. Hello, Pam's Crafty Heart, and good morning to you. It's afternoon for me here in Europe, and I thought time to hang out a bit and maybe do a bit of crochet. I do have a project I want to finish up. I do have a few other projects I want to work on as well. One of them is this summer shopper bag. Since last time, I came so far that I actually sew it together. So now I have the strap completely sewn on. What I miss in this project is I miss to do one round of single crochets. And I need to do that on the whole round on one side and also on the other side of the strap. And I also, after I've done the one round of single crochets, I do need to do a round of slip stitches. That ends up, just a moment, because this is actually the second I'm making of them. And, oops, my pen, I think, might have gotten to the floor. The second I'm making of them, because the first one we have here, and here I already worked around the centers. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I am going to basically finish up the summer shopper bag. This is the yarn I have left. I do have a little bit of a leftover from the other project. It's the same yarn. I should have more than enough left to finish this, and then maybe a little bit extra for I don't know what. Oh, that's a lovely idea. Who does not love a nice little present, especially surprise ones? So what I am going to do is I am going to basically make a slip knot. I start off some single crochets on this. That is what I'm going to be doing. And then we will see where I'm at, because I do have a few other projects I am working on as well. I want to make a headband of some yarn scraps. What I did was I managed to cake up the yarn last week. I also started on a beanie, which I'm also working on. And I do have at least 4 rows to go on that one before I need to start the brim. So we will see how far I will get. I do have a few hours here before I need to start worry about, let's say, cooking dinner and stuff like that, because my husband would probably like some food. Well, it's a bit odd to say husband. We aren't married. We are living in sin, but we have done that for the last, I don't know how many years. It works for us, and yeah, so there's no reason to change up that. So I am gonna insert my hook here and pull up this slip knot and basically start working single crochets all the way around. So nothing really difficult about what I'm gonna be doing today, basically. At least I wouldn't think so. And I see we do have a few other people popping in, and eventually I assume that Nightbot might also pop in to say hello. So yeah. So basically we got started. So a whole round of single crochets and then a whole round of slip stitches. That adds this nice extra edging to the project. And also the benefit of doing this is that the edge here right now is a little bit rough. That gets a bit smoothened out, so it looks nicer generally. At least that's my personal opinion. So that's why we're doing that. And then I'm done. And then, well, I have two, with the exception that this one I made a few adaptations to for the hope that it will work up nicer. I made the strap, the shoulder strap, 2 stitches narrower, so it still has some width to it, but it is slightly ever so narrower. Apparently my shoulders aren't that broad. And I added a few rows to the strap in the length. So I had a little bit more air under my arm when carrying the bag. Except for that, the other one is completely followed the pattern. I did, when I was doing the cross double crochets, I did, instead of starting each new round, as you know, most people say start the new round with X chains to replace either a single crochet, half double, double, etc. Um, I don't remember if I did 2 or 3. Usually I tend to do 2 to get the height to replace doubles, because when I do 3, that gets even more air for me. Um, so I think I've probably done 2 and then done the crossed doubles, um, where on the one I'm working on right now, I did stack doubles instead of doing any chains, to get the height for the first basically double crochet. I did a stacked double crochet, and then I worked the whole round doubled. So more or less, they are very similar with very minor differences. You will know them if you know what to look for. And then I'll have to find out what I'm going to do with my first edition. Either I am going to give it away, or I'm going to sell it, or it could become a birthday present for someone. Which reminds me, I've actually been invited for a birthday party in the beginning of next month, and I have no clue what to give. We're considering maybe something made. We will have to see. Not sure if I know her well enough to be sure that what I give her will be appreciated, because in the end what we do is that we put in lots of efforts in our crochet pieces, and we need to, yeah, if the recipient, will they actually appreciate the amount of work put in. So I'm almost around, so I need to start to single crochets on the whole strap, which is basically for each row a single crochet. I will have to see how that works out for me. But hopefully as nice as the other one. Also, I do of course have tea, because I always have tea when I crochet. Well, not always, but most of the time when I crochet I do have tea. My tea today is a loose tea blend. It is from the city of Nijmegen, which is not too far from here. It is named Nijmeeg's, which is basically translated directly to English, the pride of Nijmegen, which again is a city not too far from me. I said it's a black loose tea blend. It has cornflower petals. It has pineapple. It has something else. Raisins. So it's like a fresh fruity one. And it tastes nice. It's like a comfy tea. And here, the autumn has really stuck. So if I sound a bit funky, I can feel that I'm slowly getting the tendency of this autumn colds. Not that I can do much about that. So now I need to figure out if I need to... No, because this is the... That was not... That was the thread for when somebody had gone ahead and what would that be named? Was when I sewed the other end on, because I am working that way around. So right now I'm just working in single crochets all the way around. Then the question is, once I'm done with this, if I should start on the headband, or if I should do at least a full rows of the beanie and then decide what's next. I'm making the Divine hat or beanie, designed by Sarah Arnold. Pattern is on Ravelry. Yeah, it's actually looking pretty nice. I should find it for you guys to see, but that's not what I'm working on right now. I see we have a few people who's joined in. Hello, Frosty Broccoli. Good morning to you in Canada. I hope everything is nice over there. I bet you guys are slowly feeling the autumn has arrived as well. It's 1st of October, and technically already the 1st of September is considered an autumn month. And yes, the autumn is definitely here. So the other hat I'm working on, let me see if I can actually get a little bit closer without striking too much, but this is the beginning of it, and I think this lightning just makes it not too easy to see because it is much nicer in reality. But the light on here, just a moment, I'm gonna turn down this a bit, then it's probably better to see. Yeah, a little bit. Ta-ta! That's a beanie I'll be working on, and then of course I have this hat, and then, well, not hat, shopper bag, and then of course I have for my headband where I have a little bit of a leftover, but I'll just get a little bit of light back here. So definitely cooling off there. Leaves are changing color and starting to fall. Same here, same here. Like, I almost have no leaves left on my plum tree. I have a plum tree that gives green Renée-Claude plums, so that's like a French sort. And the plums remain green, or green yellowish. There's nothing left. I still have leaves on my apple tree, and then I have some conifera, but they, I think, remain green no matter time of the year. And the trees on the street still have some leaves, but I'm betting they will start dropping soon as well, because it's pretty chilly here. Actually, we can have Nightbot telling us how warm or how cold it is for me right now. So let's see if it actually wants to play with us. I'd expect it would be. It is. It's 14 degrees. It's been raining all morning, which makes good sense. It says humidity is 88%. Definitely, it's been raining for the all morning until lunch. So until about 3 hours ago, it stopped raining. Hello, Amanda, and good afternoon to you. The purple plum tree is messy at Pam's place, so her trees is still all green and starting to change color. Yeah. Well, my plum tree is also messy. I need to prune it, basically chop some of its what would it be called? I need to chop some of its branches off. It's getting too big. Oh no. Okay, I'll redo that stitch. So let's catch up. So the painter has been prepping to paint some of your walls, Amanda, and you have to move half the living room out tonight. Oh my goodness. So that's kind of my biggest nightmare with the thoughts of getting stuff done, like painting and so on, right? Like, it takes forever to prepare for everything and so on. And it always smells of fresh paint for so many days after, some places even weeks, depending on the paint they use. Yeah, you can better get it moved around when you know it's coming. So it's not gonna be like last moment, right? And the best thing is, you can listen to me while you're doing it. That is, if you want to. Still chilling around with my single crochets here. For those curious, I am working on the summer shopper bag. I started down here. We are working a row of single crochets all the way around. We're about halfway. And then we're going to do slip stitches all the way around. Then we're going to fasten off, weave an ends, move to the other side. Do the same. Very easy, simple, straightforward. Amanda said she hadn't. She said she once said she didn't have sorted her shelf well enough. Well, actually, you would consider this opportunity to do so, right? I would say. Um, I have a cupboard that I need to sort. I do not want to know how many things in there are needing to be either thrown out because it's past due date. So it's like my food cupboard. It's just been waiting on me to do something. And last week, when I had my last day at work, I basically cleaned my whole table here. Well, not completely, but I cleaned for my work things, um, allowing me to have some room for that. Instead, what did I do? I went off to the city to get phone subscription stuff sorted and do some groceries, and I ended up yarn shopping. The yarns that I got with me back home is on Monday's video. I posted it Monday. And then the following day, there was plenty of things to do as well. And the weekend was just totally busy with diverse appointments. Yesterday, I guess, busy. Today, I'm like, oh, I want to go live. I don't want to clean up my mess. I should. Procrastination, I'm a champion of. Yeah, you can get it fixed properly this time. Oh, good luck painting the bedroom. All prepped, or do you need to move stuff around first? Good morning, ABD or Mrs. Frosty. I hope you're having a wonderful morning as well. Glad to have you hanging around with me and leaving your DNA. Definitely. I'm just chilling around and doing some single crochets. But I appreciate the DNA. So let's see. Amanda says she has some plaster done in the kitchen. He'll be back tomorrow for one wall in the living room, one wall in the bedroom, and the rest in the kitchen. Phew. Sounds like he's had some stuff to do. I'm a bit surprised they didn't paint it before you moved in, though. That would have like been normal procedures. Not? At least that's what I remember from back when I was doing the apartment stuff. Um, these days I am so blessed that I'm living in a house, which if we have to paint it, we have to get somebody to do for it and plan ourselves and all that stuff. Because yeah, cash. When you own stuff, it costs in a different way. Perhaps he'll be here Thursday also. Kitchen has a bit cracks due to the house movement. Do you like the bricks of the house is moving, like the foundation, or because that doesn't sound good? Yeah, I know. So the thing is, I can start to do more lives in the afternoon because obviously I am currently a free agent. I do have a really good friend that's gonna lay in a word, and I'm gonna see what that's gonna end up with. Um, and else I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do for work. I have been debating on just seeing how October could work out. Should I be trying to do some crochet business? What I also need to do is I need to take photos of some yarns that I actually wanted to put up for sale on the marketplace because it's yarns that I'm currently not sure what to do with. And if I could get them sold, I can get some room, I guess, to buy new yarns or something. Free some money. That's also a way to look at it. We are having some good mornings in between, people. And it is indeed good morning. Yeah, okay, obviously. So Amanda says that they only paint apartments if it's needed and what's needed. That makes good sense. They don't want to waste stuff, I guess. I remember when I moved into, like back when I was studying, they had done the whole bathroom and bed / living room. It was like a 1-room condo. So yeah, I was, I guess, pretty lucky that it was all freshed up when I came. The house is built on the old sea floor and it is fairly soft. I think the house is built back in around 1960, 1970s. Ah, okay. There you see. Hmm. The house we have, so, well, wouldn't that be wrong? The house I live in, the one my partner owns, it's built back around year 2000, so it's pretty new actually. But sometime within not too long time, well, the next 10 years, we really need a new kitchen, because the kitchen is the one that's been built back when it was created or built. So it's still the original kitchen. And while the kitchen overall is still doing pretty well, I can also sometimes feel it is getting to a stage where it probably needs slowly to get renewed. My goodness, I am almost around here. Good afternoon. Hello. I hope you're feeling well today. Meanwhile, I am just working on getting this one wrapped up. We're almost finished with this round. And for those late joiners, I am working on finishing up the summer shopper bag. I did sew the hank together with the piece, and now I'm working on doing a round of single crochets on the one side of the hank and edge. And then afterwards, I'll do a round of slip stitches, and then I'll switch to the other side of the hank and edge and do the same there, and then it's done. Of course, sew in some ends. But the only ends I need to sew in is the ends of the yarn that I'm using to do this. So that's like 4 more ends to sew in. Very overseeable, I would say. And then when I'm done with that, we will have to see if I'll start on either the headband or if I'll do the 4 more rows on the beanie that I'm working on and then start the headband. I could do both, probably. It also depends on how long this takes, because I will probably be here for the next hour and a half. Then when we get there, I will probably need to go, so that I can go prepare for dinner and get a few other things done. But until then, I have the pleasure of hanging out with all you guys, either preparing to go to work, because I know all of you Americans are getting up to get ready to work, or to paint, as if I understood that correct. And some are just chatting off. If anyone else is crocheting right now, or knitting for that matter, what are you working on? Feel free to share. I'm just trying to finish up some of my current projects here, which is kind of a bit oddly said, because the only current project that I had planned on finish today was this bag, but then it's done. And then I have a few other things that I started on a few other things too, but that's for the Yarn Talk Friday. Good morning, Sarah. You are crocheting snowflake doilies this morning. Are you going to combine them all to a blanket, or are you using them as like pot holders, like in the sense of like, you know, like you can place mugs on it? What are they called? Coasters they were. Or what's the purpose of the doilies? I'm curious. Hello, Jay Paradise. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I don't know what time is at your place, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And the Dutchman's Wood Shack is also tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Not an awful lot going on, except we're just crocheting. As I said, I am working my darn hardest on getting this bag finished. And then I will have to make a decision what I'm going to just do with version 1. But for now, the focus is to finish version 2. Sarah says they're going to be more like coasters or decorative doilies for underneath, maybe candles or knickknacks. Yeah, that makes good sense. That makes good sense. I think I did find a doily pattern that I might want to test out one day. So the Dutchman is in Geneva and Illinois. Unsure if you pronounce it differently, but I would say Geneva like they do for the Swiss Genève. Then J Paradise is in New England, and there it is 9 a.m. That is very true, because right now here it is 3 p.m. in Central Europe, and I am in the Netherlands, so that would be Amsterdam time. And we are usually 6 hours behind Eastern, with a very few exceptions. And they are coming up soon, and that is when we transfer time difference between daylight savings and so on. They do it at different dates than they do here in Europe, and therefore there's often like 2-week time span where we only either have 5 hours difference or we have even 7 hours difference, depending on if it's summer or autumn. Yeah, Christmas trees and snowmen. I think it's generally time to make Christmas presents, I guess, if you know people that will appreciate handmade gifts, right? That's my impression, because it is really getting time for that. So I got all the way around. Now it's time to do slip stitches all the way around. Maybe I should actually put in a stitch marker so I don't forget where my start stop point is. Where did I put my crate with stitch markers? Here. I have like a little box I keep all my stitch markers in, just to help me keep track of them. And I should put in one, because now it's starting to be a little bit more challenging to see where the exact point is, because I'm now starting on the slip stitches all the way around. Hello, kinda clumsy. You ask if we can help you with something. Let me know what it could be, and we will see if we can. Sarah says she used a tutorial from Glenda at Creative Grandma. She has really cute Christmas patterns. Oh, but she's such a wonderful person. She's always so happy, right? Like, there's something warmy there. It is like, she is really this grandma type. Can't really express it better. I like her. I like her. And then she even has Cody to help her out once in a while. It's kind of cool. Here, I have to do it all on my own. When you crochet on the other side of the foundation chain, why am I always out of stitches? Like crochet, like I crochet into 7 stitches, then I increase, and when it's time to crochet on the other side, I'm left with 5 stitches. if you crochet into 7 stitches. Oh, so what stitches are you using and what's the length of the foundation chain, etc.? So if you have a foundation of 5 and you do 5 double crochets in that, are you going to increase in that as well? I'm trying to exactly understand where you're heading. Because if you increase and you have, let's say, 7 stitches, then when you turn around, you should be able to crochet in 7 stitches. Unless, again, that you're increasing or decreasing somewhere. So it sounds like you might be missing stitches or you're not turning in the right way. Optionally, you can also try to, are you using, is it for double crochets or single crochets? Because you could also probably make a foundation chain with the desired type of stitches. It does take a little bit of practice to get them nice though, but maybe that helps. You increase on the 7th chain, so you should have, so if you increase with 1 stitch, then you should have, so you have the crochet into 7 stitches. Okay, so you have a 7 chain. Did you add the extra 2? So if you do 7 single crochet, so if you do 7 chains and you do single crochets and you need 7 plus 1 increase, then you might need to do 8 foundation. It's like 8 for the foundation chain, and then you make the first single crochet in the 2nd stitch from the hook. Then you have 7 stitches, and the very end would be your 7th stitch where you increase by 1, and then when you turn around you should have the right amount of stitches, I guess. So you might not add the extra needed to actually make the turn for that chain. Could that be your issue? And that's why you don't have enough. That would be my guess right now, without actually having seen it. That would be my very best guess. On the other hand, for what I'm doing right now, somehow I managed to add extra. I don't know how I do that, but it happens for the rounds. I guess I'm just used to it happening, so I pay attention when it could happen, if that makes sense. So yeah, right now I am onto all the slip stitches around for this lovely summer bag once I'm done. And then we will have to do the other side as well. And then we have a fresh and fancy summer bag. And then we will have to decide what to work on next. But looking at the time, I should be able to start something. How far we will get, guess will depend on how chatty we all are and how quick I crochet. Thank you, you're very welcome. My project is almost finished though. We are getting closer to. We are having a summer shopper bag here. And right now I have to do a bunch of slip stitches. Fasten off and repeat on the other side. And then we are finished. So I am expecting to be able to finish this summer shopper during this live session. I am. So yeah, there are things for me to do. At the same time, I've really enjoyed just not being in a rush getting certain things done. Like today, this morning, I visited the dentist. Yay, had to be done. And I vacuum cleaned all of downstairs. Like, you know, it's kind of sad but true, but I'm definitely not missing my job. Sarah says, sorry, Kleiner Clumps, I didn't want to steer you in the wrong direction. I hope we got her sorted. I hope we got you sorted based on the questions you had. I wish you all the best of luck, but I would just definitely check that you have the right foundation compared to the amount of stitches you put in, because if you have increased, you should have both amount of stitches on the same side, so to say. So if you have 7 stitches on one side, when you turn it around, and if you don't increase, you should still have 7 stitches. If you increase by 1, you should then have 8, obviously. If you decrease by 1, you should only have 6. It's actually quite simple. Crochet in many aspects is like mathematics, and I always liked math in school. Oh my goodness, I did this wrong. I was going into the habits of single crochets, so I'm just untangling a 1, and we will go straight back into slip stitches. That went quite quickly to say, hey, let me do a single crochet instead. One by one by one by one. So yeah, I've been enjoying myself. Of course, it's not too difficult. I'm so tempted to buy yarns. And some places have offers on yarns where I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to buy some yarns. I really want to do a yarn order. I'm trying to convince myself not to. You never used chainless foundation shade of any sorts before. I did that a very long time ago. For a scarf that I made. Was a double crochet foundation chain, like double crochets built into the foundation chain. And that sort of increasing when you don't have enough stitches is what I also did for when I made the increases, when I increased again for the firefly sweater that I'm currently making. And that will, I need to block that before I continue on that project. So I guess that's something for this week. Block some projects. I do have a few projects laying and waiting for me to block them. So there are definitely things that needs to be done. But it does. What's important when you do the foundation chains of like double crochets and so on is that if you do it too tight, they can tend to curve. So therefore, it does require a little bit of practice to get them well. But when you do them, it's really nice because if you realize that you chained 1 or 2, let's say, 2 chains too few in your foundation chain, then you can actually, via that, add the 2 extra in the very end. So that's really nice. So let's say if you're doing a blanket or something like that. Well, whatever that needs a long foundation chain, and you might have chained 100 and well 100 plus whatever you need to do the round, so that will 100 plus 2, let's say that, and you realize you counted wrong, and in the very end you only have, let's say, 99 double crochets. You're missing one, but like there's no extra foundation chain to actually do the double crochet in. You can work in the double crochet in that already as is, which is pretty nice. Hello, Steph. Nice to see you here. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are, of course. Here where I am, it is afternoon, and we might hear a few dogs barking. I was debating if I could go live and whatnot, because I have just gotten new neighbors, and they are busy moving in, or they were yesterday, but have also been a little bit today, but they are not making as much noise as I had expected them to make, which is positive. I wouldn't have blamed them for doing it either, because of course they just want to get everything settled as quickly as possible. So if you hear some funky background noises, it could be neighbors moving in furniture. New neighbors moving in furniture. Hello, Maritza. How are you this morning? I am still on my slip stitch mode, slip stitching all the way around. We still have about this piece to go in slip stitches. I don't even know how many stitches that is. I did not start counting. Actually didn't count at any stage. I just did them. It was the same when I went all the way around with the single crochets. Actually didn't count them. They just had to be done because it's going to be a nice edge. And soon we have side 1 done, and I can show you all the pretty one sides. And then we need to make one more. Of course I need to sew in ends as well. I could consider sewing in ends later, and not necessarily right now, because sewing in ends is boring. And now I can actually hear it's noisy. I just talked about it, and then now they start making noise. That's fair enough. Yeah, then eventually I have to sew in ends, but I could sew in the ends later, I guess. On the other hand, if I do it now, then I can say done, whip complete, yes. Like it's always somehow, even no matter how quickly or how slow the make is, it always feels like a bit of a victory when I'm finishing up a whip. Just somehow it does feel really nice. So I am still working on getting there. Slip stitching away, which is more or less the quickest stitch you can make looking away from a chain, right? Da, da, da. Nightbot is just being social with us all, saying that he hopes that you enjoy hanging out with me, which I hope you do. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. And then I have this idea that I want to buy yarn, but well, that's nothing new. But I do need to be a little bit more cautious about how and what yarn. So I need to think when I buy yarn, I need 2 things. I need space, which I don't currently have. So that's the reason I want to take photos of some yarns, which I'm like definitely not going to be using, and then see if I can get them sold, at least to make a little bit of money. And point 2, it needs to be like for something planned project. Yeah, there is some good sales going on right now. That's the issue, right? Like I want to grab some good deals. Um, it's hard. Like some of the places where I shop right now has some really good sales. And I really want to buy some yarns. And well, yeah. So all the yarns that I bought last week, which I showed Monday in the video, um, all except one I have plans for. The only thing is that um, I might not know exactly what patterns, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this and this for hats. I'm going or beanies, and then I'm going to say basically see if I can sell them to make a bit of an income. Oh, Stayish, good morning. And thank you so very much for this super chat. Super sticker, is it? I guess, in fact. So, actually, I do have to do this for a moment. Let's see if it works. Thank you so ever much. That was definitely very much appreciated, but not required. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Level up for me to buy more yarn or what? I need a level up storage room, by the way. How do we do that without necessarily expanding the house? Because there's not room for that. Move? No, that would not fall in good earth with my partner. Honey, I need a new house because I want a bigger stash for yarn. Nope. Definitely not. Hello, Anvita. Lovely to see you in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am almost done with this round of slip stitches. Then I can fasten off. And I should probably be a clever girl and weave in those ends straight away. But knowing myself, I might not do that. But I should do that, because if I do that, then I don't have to do it later. Amazing, we are almost through here. So yeah, I did do a few things today. Also emptied the dishwasher. Prepared for some other administrative stuff. And now we're crocheting. Almost here. Da, da, da. Really need to pay attention that I don't by accidentally make a single crochets now when I'm slip stitching all the way around. It's just so tempting to stop and not pull through the loop, but to yarn over again and then pull through. Am I the only one realizing that sometimes I need to pay attention that I actually do slip stitch and not just suddenly make a single crochet in between? Here we are. We got all the way around. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I just have one last stitch to pull through. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my end. Ta-ta. Then, if it wants to, I will pull. Yeah. Well, that sounds like me as well. Well, not completely the tight one, because actually I do have a tight tension. But yeah, frocking it just to make the same mistake again. Check, been there, done that. I wonder if it's like a bucket list thing. Like, eventually you've made all sorts of mistakes with our crochet, right? So I found a darning needle. Ta-ta. I'm actually going to be a big girl and crochet in my or weave in my ends straight away. Because if I do this, it's done, right? Don't have to do it in a few. And then I'm wondering if I might just make or reach to finish what I'm working on right now, based on the time it's taking me to do this. But that's all right. That's all right. Then I still have something to do tomorrow, because I still really haven't decided what's going to happen with my morning lives. But I know that Stacia would love me to pop on tomorrow morning. And I'm not sure if it's because, are you having night shift, Stacia, or how it is it? You too. Have a blessed day. Take care. And stay safe. Yeah? All the best wishes. Thank you for popping in and leaving your DNA. It was much appreciated. So what am I doing now? I am weaving in ends, because that seems like the thing, which is so fun to do. Well, it could be worse, actually. I think sewing in general takes forever. I remember, so was that a year and a half ago, almost? I made this bag where I decided to line it, but of course, me not having a sewing machine, wanting to line it with some linen or some cloth, was an absolutely wonderful idea, because I had to do it all by hand. Well, it went okay. It just took forever to actually do it. Should actually go down and go back. I actually still have that bag laying here, because I used that to keep track of all my supplies. Well, supplies, tools. This one. I have stuff in here. But as you can see, it's lined. And that I sew by hand. I should probably get, if I want to do that again, or if I want to make more of them, I really should get a sewing machine, because that, my friends, I'm not sure if I'm going to do twice. Sew that by hand. Not really my best memory of sewing. But I guess it's good to know that you can sew by hand. Like, just for yourself, so to say, to know. Da, da, da. So, I got that row made. One end done, second end to go. And the reason for that is, of course, that I added the yarn by doing a slip knot. So I do have 2 tail ends to sew in. Once done, we can go to the other side. But I'll just, before we do that, quickly show you how this side is looking. I just need to get some of this done. So it's looking great though. Yeah, almost through and having the first 2 ends sewn in. And then we just got to repeat on the other side and then we're done. Really, one should not try to count the hours we put into our crafts. We might actually get disheartened by it. So, side 1 complete. This side is complete. Let's see if I can actually show this without ruining my setup. This side is complete. Let's see. Yeah. So, all nice, but this side isn't, as you can see. Also, if I hold up this like that, you can see one has a nice edging. The other side doesn't. So the other side we're going to do now. So we have 1 down, 1 to go. That would basically be the gist of it. Just going to put away my darning needle because knowing me, I will lose it. And I don't want to lose it. I once got this as a free gift from Hobby, the yarn needle holder. And I have my 3 darning needles in there. Actually, I have more than 3 darning needles, but that's the 3 that I mainly use. The amount of yarns we have left, we should have more than enough to do what we want to do here, which is another round of single crochets. And then after that, we're going to be doing a round of slip stitches. Then, my friends, we are done. Of course, the challenge of doing it like this is I have to keep a little bit track. But we're almost there. So, ready for round 2, so to say, side 2. Now I need to keep track because now I just got used to doing a lot of slip stitches. Now I need to make sure that I actually do single crochets all the way around. And I have done the first 2 so far, but there's far more than 2 to go. And the yarn I'm working with is 100% cotton yarn. It is like a DK weight, which means that it is, the skeins originally were 100 grams, so 3.5 ounces to 150 meters, which probably comes pretty close down to 160 some odd yards, 65 maybe. Again, that's raw mathematics. I am not a perfect specialist in recalculating, but I'm usually reasonably close. But right now it is a bunch of single crochets we are back at doing. And for those that just has joined, I am working on finishing my summer shopper bag. Here in Central Europe right now, it is 3:33 p.m. And I'm drinking a loose tea blend named Nijmeegstrots, which is from the city of Nijmegen. Gorgeous, wonderful loose tea blend that I made and put into my mug before I went live. And the mug helps keep it warm, because if I just had a regular mug, not a thermos mug, it would definitely have been cold by now. Trust me, it would have. So yeah. It's taking me an exact of 3 skeins to make this summer bag. And a part of me have been debating on getting cotton yarns in different colors and see how that could work up. I like the result of what I've made here, actually. I think that's turned out pretty good. So it could be fun with some different colors, or even using 2 colors, depending on where on the bag it is, could also be nice, or even 3. That could be nice. I like how it gets an edge. So part of me has also been wanting to make different things. But the first I'm probably gonna make after this are some headbands and hats. It's time for it. And I do have yarns in my stash that would be perfect for it. Plus, I bought new yarns to be able to make some. Because there will be an event upcoming week and next. And I will have to be there with a part of. I have another business, so I do know what it means to run a business. And I was been thinking if I would put down a hat or 2, if they might actually sell. Because it is getting winter time, so it is getting hat season. Though it is not the place you would normally think, let's go buy a hat. And it's not that cold yet either. But I have been debating if it could be worth it. So this is technically the last. I just need to keep track of my stitches here to ensure that I don't mess up this. So we are onto the strap now, making single crochets. And the strap contains of 62 rows. 62 rows of straps. So I should have theoretically 62 single crochets to go. Not that I'm counting, but that would be the estimate. Because each row gets on the side a single crochet to help create that nicer and smoother edge on the project that goes all the way around. Also, the benefit of this, it helps holding the real bag and the strap better together. It just increases a little bit of strength in that area, which I think is a good thing if you put something that's really heavy in the bag. So I personally think it's a good idea. So it both makes a nicer finish, but it actually also has a functionality, if that makes sense. Right? It has a really good functionality. So that will pretty much be it. So yeah, hanging around, crocheting. People getting ready to get to work? Are they just hanging around with me just because they're working on something on their own? Or, yeah, what are you doing right now? Let me know. If you want to chat about something specific, now you have the opportunity to ask me questions if you want to. Do my best to answer them, as long as it's not too private. But it is a bit of a funny weather these days. So now it's cold, and next week the temperatures is going up again. Like we're having a few days now with windy rain, and I normally would call it a bit yuckier weather, so to say. Then towards the end of the week, the sun is going to be shining, and next week we're back at 20 degrees, which is pretty warm for October, to be honest. But I'll take it. It's better than freezing cold. And then I have been debating to instead maybe get like a camera showing what my hands are doing, if that would be better for you guys. Like, so you better can see what I can see, if that makes sense. As I said, it's been debated, not decided. But that could be an idea. The real challenge is actually the other yarn that I've been using for the hat I'm currently making has this flare to it. My webcam doesn't really like it. We have been in there. Need to go in here instead, I guess. Still doing a bunch of single crochets here. I'm about halfway through the hank, and then it's a round of a bunch of slip stitches, and then I'm actually also pretty close to have used all the yarn, which is good because I remember having these 6 skeins of this. It's a value cotton, so it's not like a soft cotton. You can get soft value cottons, not misunderstand me here, but it was just a cotton where I'm like, I'm not going to use that for clothing, it's too thick. Probably good for pot holders or something like that as well. But yeah, because I wasn't sure what to make of it, I was like, okay, let's see. And then I came across this pattern, and I have to say, I think this has been the perfect yarn for this pattern. and it is looking really, really nice. It is. Let's see if I can actually flip this a little bit, so a bit more centered. So yeah, I guess that's something. So I'm quite happy with the result of this, and it's yarn that I personally never bought. Well, in the sense of I didn't intentionally buy it. It's yarn that came to me in another person's stash that I got a good deal on. So it was more like a side win, so to say. But I'm really, really positively pleased, and I do actually enjoy making this pattern. So I am tempted sometimes to maybe just get some extra yarns and see how it would look in a different color or different color schemes. Because it's also a project that's easy to work up when, for example, doing a live right now or sitting behind the couch watching TV and so on. I can though feel that this yarn does take some more energy from my wrists. It's not a thinner yarn, so thicker yarns sometimes do take a little bit more effort to make work, so to say. And that is definitely something I can feel with this yarn as well. It's a 5mm crochet hook that I'm using for the project, for those that's curious. I actually need this crochet hook for another project of mine, so that's why it makes sense to finish up this one first. Good morning, Nancy Ma. It is wonderful to have you with us this morning. Here in the Netherlands, it is 3:45 p.m. So I would say good afternoon, but I do know it's morning for you, so therefore I am being nice and saying good morning. I hope you had a good sleep and that you're healthy and well. And feel free to hang around with us. Can crochet with us, or just hang around with a morning cup of coffee or tea. Yes, good afternoon. And I've really been debating on getting new yarns. Like, there are so many good deals out there. I want to shop yarns. Doing my best not to. But a part of me want to. But I'm trying to promise myself not to. Because I need to clear out some stash. And I already just bought new yarns last week, for which I'm trying to see if I can actually make some hats and sell them, if that would actually be a profit in it. I think one thing is important. That is that keep in mind that I should not expect, if I do start to sell stuff, I should not expect to get my current hourly wage paid that I normally do. This is because you enjoyed. Because if I'm going to calculate my hourly wage, you would get to pay a few $100s for like a bag. Hat could probably be worked up faster though. And there's many ways of calculating what should you charge. There is lots of way of calculating that. Now we are here where we increase, and that is a bit funky for this. So that means that I'm almost all the way around. One method is basically, oh, it has to be 3 times the yarn. Another method is at the cost of the yarn or um, materials. Let's just call it materials because it could be that you do something else than just this, or if you do plushies, etc. At the cost of your materials, and to that you add 10%. That 10% is to ads for costs like going to the store to get the yarn, marketing, packaging, stuff like that. So let's say you pay $10 in materials. And I'm just saying 10 because 10 is just such a wonderful number to calculate with. It is really for percentage purposes. So we use $10 of materials. Then you use, you add the 10% on top. 10% of 10 is 1. So that's $11 total. And with that, you would then say, okay, to get your wholesale price, which basically is not your own sales price, would be double it. And then retail would be like double that again. So that would be like 4 times your material costs. But then that does not account for your hourly salary. So you should basically add that in as well, like time yourself, how long does it take to make, etc. Then the real question comes down to, would it be realistically possible to actually do based on that? Because, my friends, crochet is not something that's very quick to do. And then you need to target customers that's more into the slow fashion thing rather than the quick fashion, fast fashion. And then we can go back into some whole different level of moralities as slow fashion, quick fashion, fast fashion. Nancy, yes, everything is well with me. Thank you very much. It is. I have been thoroughly enjoying the fact that I'm actually not going to my regular work anymore, so to say. That I'm just me. That I only need to be accountable for me, against me, with me, whatever, which is really, really, really nice. So now we are where we are to start slip stitching. So I will again place my stitch marker just for me to easily keep track. I do know approximately where it is. But now I am ready to do the last round of slip stitching, sew-in ends, and then, my friends, this summer bag is complete. But before I got to this place, I did spend quite a bit of time to get here. And I didn't even count hours. Like, while we have been chatting, it's still been like an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah. And of course, things, if you use Etsy as a marketplace, you would probably have to charge even more because Etsy fees are horrendous. It's like 6.5% on everything plus a 20-cent listing fee. So you need to account for a lot of things, and a lot of people also forget to account for materials for sending things, because obviously you need to wrap it up into something. If you send it, you can't just take this and go down to the post office and say, hey, I want to ship this. You need something more than that. You need something to keep it and contain it in. So there are many, many aspects to pricing your products. That is for sure. But yeah, so I am back to slip stitching all the way around. And when I'm done with that, I can cut the yarn, weave in the ends. Then what I really should do is I should probably get out of my chair stand up and let you see how it looks with me. That will make good sense. That would make really good sense. But we are getting closer. And actually, I think I'll have a bit more yarn left here than I had with the other project I made. I saw that hubby had some recycled cotton in the right size. I am ever so tempted to pick that up, but I think I can still get the same, similar to the same deal price if I just buy bulk at some other time. So I'm not really in a hurry. What I do like about this one is that it's not lines, because then we're back to me needing a sewing machine, right? Well, not necessary, but it just takes forever to do it all by hand. I think it took me like 2 hours to hand stitch this and sew it all together back then. I am, though, pretty okay with how it did turn out. And I do like the feeling of that pouch. It is a bit heavy, which is probably due to the materials, but except for that, I am pretty happy with it. Yep. It's going pretty nice. I do feel, I can start to feel my hand a bit. I don't know if it's just me, but when you're working with a bit thicker, stiffer yarns, you can feel if you need to use a bit more strength doing the project compared to what you're normally doing. Oh man. I did it again. Just need to unravel 2 stitches here because I did go from slip stitching to single crocheting. Don't know why I do this. It really shouldn't be that difficult. Slip stitches are so quicker to make. It is one less yarn over. It should really just be so straightforward. Yet, I did it again. At least I noticed it within 2 stitches, right? I noticed it very quickly. I do have the feeling people are slowly preparing also to go to work and so on. May do other pop-ups, and I do know there are people that's requesting me to go live tomorrow morning. Not a lot of people come along for those, but I might just do it because I am able to. I might. What we also did, I'm not sure if you noticed, but it might be a bit lighter in this room because right up here I have my table lamp hanging. And the other day, I noticed suddenly it was gone dark, and that was because there's like 4 light bulbs in it. They're all LED, low consumption, etc. But one of them had gotten out, and then I looked at it. Actually, 2 of them had flashed out, and now we put in 2 new ones, and with those 2 in, it's been as bright as I don't remember. So it's a lot brighter for me for the last 24 hours compared to what it's been in the past. Which isn't bad either, because then I can see what I'm doing, of course. I also started on a new project. Well, actually, I started on 2 projects, where one I expect to have finished soon. And that's one of the projects I was debating on maybe doing after this, which I still could do, depending on how far we have to go once I'm done with this. And then I have the headband that I want to make. But I could actually maybe just do that tomorrow morning. Spend a life on that. Because normally what I've been in the past is Wednesday morning has been my morning live and crochets. But I've only usually done it for like somewhere between half an hour and 45 minutes, 50 minutes, because I've always had to like log out and head to work. But I don't need to do that anymore. Now I can just do whichever I want. So what I am gonna do is probably gonna go live tomorrow morning and do that. And then afterwards, I should take the photos of those yarns that I wanted to put on the marketplace. I already have them gathered up. I just need to actually do the physical activity, if that makes sense. So yeah. I both have some acrylics and some woolen yarns that is gonna go bye-bye if somebody wants to pay for them. We will have to see. I was just thinking I was doing single crochets again, but I'm not. It's not. I'm not. I was like, yes. Don't need to frog. I only missed this much. And then, my friends, we are going to have to sew in ends. And then I can conclude I have like, at best, 10 grams left of yarn. I think that's pretty done. Well done. I think that's very well done, to be honest. So we're almost there. But yeah, so it could be I should make like a watch. I don't know. We'll also need some overhead gear for it. If I do like a camera view of my working hands here. Not that it's super interesting, because I'm just slip stitching. And I have like 10, 12, 14, something like that. Slip stitches to go. So I'm almost there actually. I am almost there, which is nice. And then we can sew in ends. And we can say it's finished. Which is gonna be like so ever cool. I like to have one more project finished. We are so close. We have 4 stitches to go. 4, 2, 3, and if it wants to, 4. And then, my friends, we can cut my end of yarn. Done, cut loose. This is what I have left of 3 skeins off. Yeah, what would that be? 3.5 ounce skeins. So I probably used 7, 10 ounces or so for this summer bag. It's a good guess. Pretty close. So now I have 2 ends that I need to sew in. There are 2 ends here. So we're gonna grab my darning needles again. We're gonna sew them in. Then I think I'm gonna get up with my chair and show you guys how it's looking. But so far, I'm pretty stoked. I am pretty stoked. I am actually genuinely happy with this. So, because not only I was debating on postponing sewing in these ends, but my friends, I didn't postpone. I were perseverant and we did it together, which means that it is less for me to do later. Plus, we can officially call it finished. Right? So that's another way of looking at it. So now we're just sewing in ends to this project. And as I said, I am really happy that it's complete. Almost. Because I did use quite some tension here, which means that sewing in these ends is not as smooth as one would normally think. I do need to put a little bit force into doing so. But that's all right. I'd rather make sure it's sitting there good and well. Then we have to have a good look here. And we can take it all the way back. I do like to do a few crisscrosses when possible to really ensure the end sits and stays. Especially for something like this, where it is possible there will be some substantial, maybe the right word, I don't know, but there will be weight to it, right? So I want to make sure that if you want to put something in the bag that's heavy, that it's not suddenly losing the strap because that you didn't sew it well together or weaved in the end nicely or whatever. So I'd rather have it being really well placed. One and done, one to go. Let me see. This is the original side. Which means that it looks slightly ever so different than the other side for when I'm sewing in this end. Just this is not exactly the side when I was doing it. I continued. So I've done all the cross rounds, and then you do like a round of half double and a round of singles. And then before you start on the straps, you just like where you end, you start adding, you just do a row of 18 and you like flip it back and forth. So the first side, you technically don't have to sew on at all. And that's the side where I now have to weave in the ends. So there isn't like a pre-made place for me to easily do it. So now I'm weaving in the ends in the half doubles. It's working, so it just takes a few more stitching through to finish weaving in these ends, but it's all right. The feeling is that it's looking a bit nicer, actually. So guess there has to be a better fit somewhere. It fell off my darning needle. Just one moment, but we're almost there, so I can actually almost show you guys this final result. It is pretty cool, I think. Well, I'm happy with it and how it turned out. That's fundamentally the most important part, I guess. Yeah. Just one more pull and I can cut. Total. Putting away my darning needle, also important. Then, my friends, I think we are as good as complete. A little bit of yarn left, that's all right. Ta-ta! We have a bag here. And I am just gonna get up for you guys to actually show it. So, we have a shopper bag here. Ta-ta! Nice. I really like it. And you can also see here nicely, we have a really, really nice, good edging. This is the original side. We've just crocheted on the strap. This is the other side. We have sewn it together. You can barely see it. Well, you can if you look for it. All the way around here, also in the edges, we have this single crochet border. After that, it turned into the slip stitch border. So we have a complete one. And next to it here, we have edition 1. And to be honest, I really prefer the new version. You can also see here the straps are slightly, so this one is the first one I made. This is the new, and I think you can clearly see the straps a little bit slimmer, but it is because, or narrower, but it is because it's like 2 stitches narrower in total. So it's finished. Hallelujah. It's complete, ready for use. I have a new bag. Then we need to have a look at what else to do. What I could start by doing is wrap up the yarn. So this is the other scrap. And then I have this scrap. There's 2 differences what I made on those bags. 3 technically. I increased as I should, but I did not do the last round of increases, so it is a few stitches fewer around. But it has 1 more row in the height because I could see when I were there that I should have enough yarn to do that, plus the straps, plus what's around, which I clearly had. I'm not sure I could have made another round around. I don't think so. I could have made the strap longer if I wanted to, but also you don't want to have it too low hanging. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I like to wind up the yarns when there is no more left, but this is too small to go on the yarn winder. So I'm just gonna do it by hand so I can keep track of it. I remember when I was starting on this project, one of them, the skeins I had, was actually wound up as a ball because the former owner of the yarn, so to say, where the person stasher that I bought, that person, had at some stage tried to make a project with it, and then unraveled it, and then wound up this ball of yarn. So that is in the original one. So it could be that she cut off some of it, so it never was as much as the ones I used for the second. That I don't know, and that is also probably never going to be answered. But further than that, it's all right. Like, I'm happy with how this bag turned out, definitely. And next project is either going to be my hats or my headband. I made the headband before in a different yarn. This yarn is more fitting to the yarn specs, the sense of gauge and size, thickness, etc. I think I have enough to make it, but I actually don't know if I have enough. It's just a wild guess. If I don't have enough to make a full adult-sized one, I'm probably just gonna make as big as I can with the yarn I have left. If I can't make a full adult-sized one, I'll make a child-sized one. So this is after I've wound up. This is how much yarn I have left from those 2 skeins, making the summer shopper bag. I think that's a perfect way of using up random yarn. Not that much difference. There are some difference. This was project 1, project 2, how much I had left. Pretty cool, actually, I think. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what I'm going to do tomorrow, because tomorrow morning, we just concluded, I am going to do my morning live tomorrow morning. That is for many of you guys, especially if you are in the US in the middle of your night. If you're a night shifters, you're more than welcome to come and hang around. I will be going live probably half an hour later than I normally do, mainly due to how things work out here at home. I will have to check. It could be it's changing. Keep a note, before I head to bed, I will actually post, pre-plan the morning live. What I want to do is I want to make a headband of this yarn. I've wounded it up. It was just like a loose bowl last week. I've wound it up to this. There is like 35 odd grams in it, which is 1/3. So it takes about 2/3 to make a full hat. Since I only want to make a headband, I should have enough yarn to do so. And I'd rather do that than this yarn is laying in my stash doing nothing. And I think it's really gorgeous colors. It's some really, really lovely blues. The color change of this yarn is really short though. Here you have, goes into a medium blue, where you can also see it goes into dark blue. So it's not a very long color transition. The hat I made just double crochets last year, and it looks like this. So it's just a double crochet hat. What I want to do now is I want to make a headband a little bit more complex, and put that up, and then and this one is probably like large sized hat. It's really it's roomy. It just doesn't have much brim. I could have made more brim on it, but it's all right how it is. So what I want to do is I want to make a headband from this. And then another project that I'm currently working on, which I probably could do for a few minutes, though we're also slowly getting to a place where I'd like to end this live, is that I am working on, and I'm going to, you might see my hand for a minute, but I am going to turn down this light a bit, because else you will not see this very well. It's due to this lovely color, and as you can see, the yarn sort of glows. It glows in the light. It's like a pearly color. It's salmon colored, in fact. It's a rose salmon. So not red, but like a rose one. Almost like a skin toned, yet it's more rose like in the color. It's the Seaman Milan yarns. I showed them last week's yarn talk video, or this Monday for the yarn haul I did. So this is the Milan yarn, which is a 100-gram ball to 250 meters. No, it's 230 meters. So it's like, worsted weight. It's a full weight. It is 70% polyamide, 20% acrylic, 10% wool. Hello, Amanda. I think you're back hanging out with us. And I had it as a cake, or like a skein, and I caked it up because it's so much easier to work with when it's caked up. So it's caked up here. I did that last week. So that is this one. It's the Divine hat, or some even call it the seashell hat. And where I am in this hat right now is I'm at the place where I do, I chain 2, then I do a front post double crochet, and then between the front post double crochet and the double crochet, I insert 4 double crochets. And then I will make a new front post in the next one. So it kind of fans over and it twirls. It gives this really lovely texture. So as you can see, it's a very top part of my hat. And for this, I am actually using a 6mm crochet hook. The yarn calls for a 5mm, but the pattern then says the brim is made in a 5mm hook, and the first part is for a 6mm. I think it's working up nicely so far, but I'm not sure how it will be true to size when I'm done. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just trying out and see if it's working out or not. And I kind of hope it does, because this yarn, it sucks to frock. Like, you do not want to frock this at all. Because frocking this yarn is just, it tangles and sticks because of this fluffiness. It has a halo. Let's see if I can take it off so you can easier see that. But as you can see, this has a light halo. It is chain spun, the yarn. It's so it's like a tubed yarn, where I do believe the wool is kind of in the tube. It's pretty cool, actually. And it's a really, really nice yarn to work with, as long as you don't have to frock it. And what I do like is working with a 6mm hook is that it does help making up the projects quicker. And this is the first round I do with the 4 double crochet increases. But as I said, I'm not sure how long we will do this. Maybe I'll do a round and then I will bid my farewells. So a front post, and then between the next stitch I'll do 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll do another front post around the following front post. And another 4 double crochets. So it's actually pretty simple. Like, this pattern does not require much once you kind of know the concept of it. It's still the first time I'm making it though. But what I am doing right now is a row of increase on those shells. Front post, double crochet. But all these random patterns I've played with lately just gives me ideas for new designs that I want to make. I have ideas. If it's working in reality, something I would have to test out. But I do have a few ideas. 1, 2, 3, 4. This yarn is pretty much similar to a Hobbies Metallico yarns or the Gazelle Rock and Roll. Ice have them. Ice yarns have them. Then they name them Universe as well. So there are a few similar yarns out there as to this Milan yarns. The Milan yarns it's also made in Turkey, probably by the same place that makes those Gazelle Rock and Rolls and Hobbies Metallico yarns. I'm 99.9% sure. We do another front post. And then we do 4 doubles, which is, I'm getting good at this. But I think that's probably the last row because I do need to do a few things before Hubs come home from work. Holy shoot. Almost lost a stitch. Just redoing. 1 more double crochet. Then we will go to the next where we do a front post. The following stitch we do 4 doubles. And then we are back to doing another front post halfway around. That means that I have like 3 more rows to go or something like that before figuring out what's next. But that is not going to be this afternoon, I think. Then we are done with those 4. We are going to do another front post. So the pattern for the hat is it's called the Divine Hat by Sarah Arnold. It can be found on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. There are also YouTube videos made on it, not by Sarah herself. And the Summer Shopper Bag is also a free pattern that is found on Hobby. I just used different yarns that the author did on Hobby. And the same I'm doing for this hat, basically. It's different yarns because either the yarns are not easy accessible for me, or I have different yarns that's fitting in as easy. And that's probably the thing, right? You need to have yarns that you can access. And us in Europe just don't have the same access to yarns in America as Americans do. But the same is that our yarns in Europe is not as accessible for you guys in America as they are for us in Europe, which is kind of logic, actually. Let's see, I missed one more double crochet. And then I need to skip over to make a front post and 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a few more. Not that far to go though. We will have to do a front post. I believe there's like 15 sets of shells, increase regions in total, for this hat. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we will pop over to the next with a front post, double crochet, and in the following, just after, between the next stitch, we'll enter 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we will, let's see, yep, we will have another front post, and then we will have 4 double crochets, and then I'll have to slip stitch into the top chain of the first front post of the round. 3, 4. Yep, that is where we are at. Slip stitched, yay! And now it is exactly more or less 2 hours since we started, very close to 2 hours. This is where we are at right now. Oopsie daisy. Let's see. Kind of also depends on where the light comes from. It's not really the best light to showcase this yarn. So we're still working on the hats. And we made another round of increases. So that is how we are looking. Making more shells, and that is what we're going to be doing for at least another 3 rounds. And then we will have to see if I might need to extend it further. Kind of depends on the size of this, how it's looking by then. That is where I have myself to test with. But it feels nice. I'm really happy with the textures also. And the front posts are exactly what makes this sort of texture on top. And it looks like shells due to all the double crochets placed in between the same stitch. And then you kind of like pull it over to reach to the next. I think it's looking really, really nice and neat, to be honest. Yes, it is. I am quite happy for that. Yeah, so I've been here for 2 hours. And I am unfortunately going to have to leave you because I do have a few things I want to do before the day comes to an end. Well, comes to an end. There are a few things I still have to do today. Let's just put it like that. My 5mm is going to go into that box because I'm going to need it tomorrow morning. Yeah, so I am going to hang out with you again. Hopefully tomorrow morning, my time. For you guys, it's going to be late, so you might not catch me on. I will definitely promise to you guys that I will be much more online in the mornings in the coming time, because I am now able to do so. And it's been so nice to hang around with you guys today. Please know that I truly enjoyed it. So I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with me as well. If you are rewatching this live, thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end. And to anyone else hanging out with me, I wish you a great day or night or evening or wherever part it is for you. And I am going to wish you a happy crafting and take care until I see you again. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow in the next live. And of course, I will be back on Friday as well with my weekly Yarn Talk update, where I give you an update of all the projects, including any new projects I've started and any projects and WIPs I've finished since last time. So yeah, from here on, take care and happy crafting. Bye.